Okay, good morning. Good morning. Everybody warm enough? Thank you for joining us. Just wanted to thank all our guests, Altamira family, for just joining us this morning, and really for our disability community celebration. I thought about this a couple months ago, and to see it come to its fruition is really exciting. So thank you for all making this happen. So first of all, we wanted to open our doors and thank you for everything that you guys do personally and with your organizations to support and inspire the disability community to reach further. We also wanted to take a few minutes to go ahead and highlight some of the organizations, in addition to us here at Altamira, that work tirelessly to support and inspire and really support families and realize dreams. In addition to the important work that we do, I think it's important that we realize that we need the support of our community leaders, business owners, and elected officials. So thank you all for what you do and for your upcoming remarks. First, I'd like to go ahead and invite our Executive Director, Angelique Tafoya, to welcome you.
Well, thank you, Andrew, for that nice welcome. Welcome, everyone here. Thank you for braving this odd October weather. It was snowing at my house this morning. Really, really crazy. But I'm so thankful. As Andrew said, we don't typically open our doors in this fashion, but this is such an important topic that we just couldn't keep it under wraps. And specifically today, we're going to highlight a very important person that worked at Altamira and kind of the one who gave us the strength to actually come out and say, you know what, we're going to be better about advocating for all the services that are out there for people with disabilities. So we're thankful that you guys are here. I'm only going to use a little bit of your time because I think everybody else on your agenda, as the supporters and advocates, have much more to tell you than I could ever. So I'd like to get to them. But I would also like to give a good thank you to the person who made this event possible, Mr. Andrew Faber. So we will be talking about a specific employee with our agency. Her name is Jennifer Coddington, and she passed away in 2017, and we'll tell you a little more about her story. But Nancy and I were always talking about kind of what we wanted to do for her as she was nearing the retirement time here at Altamira. She'd been with us for 30 years. And after her passing, she was such a bright light for us. And one of the things at Altamira that she did that I noted specifically was she would be one of the first people to introduce herself to new staff and contractors. She loved meeting people, she loved knowing people, and she loved people knowing her. So it was a great mix. And so it kind of blew into this really beautiful event where after her passing in 2017, Nancy and I were talking about our garden area, which I hope you all saw when you came in here. Prior to a couple months ago, that was basically a hole of dirt that we saw every time we came into this building. And it was such a fabulous idea that Nancy had to turn it into a garden for Jenny. And I think it is a beautiful way of kind of celebrating her time with us, because much like she was one of the first people to introduce herself to someone on campus, whether she knew you or she didn't, the garden is a way for her to continue to say hi to you guys every time you come to our agency. So we hope that you enjoy it. And all that it brings to our agency specifically. I would also like to invite Brother Claude Cohn to come up and say a prayer for us in request of the family to kind of unveil the garden itself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to get the microphone.
Yes.
I had the privilege of being Jenny's pastor for the last 12 and a half years, and also bring the message at her memorial service. And Jenny was a great inspiration to many, many people. She just had a humble spirit. She had a great love for people, and she so appreciated this organization. And I appreciate what this organization did for her. I was just thinking this morning, what a privilege to live in America, where there is so much concern and interest in trying to help people with special needs. I don't mind paying taxes at all when I see what happens to people like Jenny and how she is blessed and how she is helped. Would you pause with me just for a moment in memory of her, and I'll have a very brief prayer. Father, I want to thank you for the life of Jennifer Coddington. I thank you for her upbeat spirit. I thank you for her loving, caring family. And I thank you for this organization, Lord, that helped her so much for 30 years. I thank you for this garden that's in her memory. I pray that when people see it, they will realize that in this building there is a ministry that seeks to help and to encourage people. Father, we just thank you for loving us, caring about our needs. We just want to praise your name for all the good that people do to try to help one another. Help us to truly practice what your word says. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we know that every human being is our neighbor. We thank you for all of your blessings in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Cohn. So to commemorate Jenny's Garden, we also want to shed light on the other parts of this event, and that is the National Disability Awareness, Employment Awareness Month, and also our proclamation that is going to be read for us just shortly here. I personally can't express to anyone in this room in the full strength of how I feel in my heart how amazing it was to know Jenny and to work with Jenny. She was a force here at Altamira. She loved her job so much that oftentimes I think a lot of us here that work with her were kind of caught when we were doing her job for her sometimes, and she would very kindly remind us that that wasn't our job and it was her job. So she really, really had a great work ethic, and I hope that with this platform and all of the supporters and advocates that are going to come up here and talk to you guys, that we leave this room and we go out into the community and we share this knowledge and kind of get other people in the community to think about what it would be like to hire a person with a developmental or intellectual disability. I'd like to open up that as much as we possibly can and grow all of the potential options out there for employment. And I really hope that all the supporters that we have coming to talk to you will highlight the importance of why we need more talks about this specific topic instead of just using certain services that we have out there. So I think that the employment is a big thing that we need to be looking at, okay? Okay, so I would like to bring up Ms. Michelle Melendres.
Actually, we have
Yeah.
Mr. Hubbard here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please, come up. Oh, for the poem. I'm sorry. That's right. I shut it off.
Mr. Hubbard knew the Coddington family back in Georgia and actually made the 1,500-mile trip just to be with us today. He wrote the poem that's on the back of your agenda for Jenny, and we're delighted he's here to share it with us this morning.
I'm not sure about this thing.
Go ahead.
I noticed there is a punster lurking in this house because behind Mr. Martinez over there is a blackboard, and there's an eraser.
Hold it closer to your mouth.
There's an eraser which says Ghost Duster, which is just really bad. It is indeed an honor for me to honor Jennifer Jo Coddington. She was a lady, special to me and to many others. She may have been differently enabled, but she did have an amazing special ability, and I call it a gift. What she had, from my perspective, was a gift of love. If you knew Jennifer Jo Coddington, you knew her gift. She could love you in an instant, and love with her was mostly a constant. It would go out and it would return to her, and even if she did not receive love in return, it didn't matter, because the amplification of those that did love her came back more than sufficient to keep her love a constant. So she did indeed have that gift. And I thought it was one of the most special gifts that a person can have. We all have it, but our culture does not encourage it. But with her, it was very close to the surface, and you could see it. And that was a marvelous thing to see. And I've always been grateful to her for seeing that. So I wrote this poem, wasn't long after she was born. I did not know her gift at the time, but I sort of sensed it. And this is called Jennifer's Gift. A tiny bird was born in a valley of sharp cliffs and high winds. With a fluttering heart, she cast herself skyward again and again. She learned to fly and then to soar. With the sun shining on her liquid silver wings, she became the wind. Like Jennifer, she had the gift of love. And that's what I
Thank you, Mr. Hubbard. That was beautiful. Next, I'd like to invite Brittany Ortiz up from the city of Albuquerque. We did request a proclamation for the day, which Brittany has agreed to read on behalf of the city of Albuquerque and any other remarks. So thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Brittany Ortiz. I'm the Deputy Director of the Office of Equity and Inclusion at the City of Albuquerque, and I am so grateful to be here this morning and to partner with Altamira, with Angelique, with Andrew, to help make this city a more inclusive place. And that's the mission of our office. That's sort of at the heart of this administration. And so we're so grateful to be in partnership with Altamira and with many of you in this room. And I'm so honored to read the proclamation declaring this day Disability Awareness Day. And so I will go ahead and read it. Whereas National Disability Employment Awareness Month, observed during the month of October, recognizes Albuquerque's public policy accomplishments concerning persons with disabilities. And whereas Altamira Specialized Family Services encourages citizens to actively participate in events that appropriately recognize and celebrate Albuquerque's diverse population, including persons with developmental disabilities. And whereas Albuquerque Development Disabilities Awareness Day was established to promote awareness and understanding of the opportunities, challenges, and needs of persons with developmental disabilities. And whereas people with developmental disabilities share the desire to achieve personal success through education, meaningful work, and family and community ties. And whereas family members, friends, and the community can play a central role in enhancing the lives of people with disabilities by providing them with the opportunities and support they need to make informed decisions and exercise their full rights. And now, therefore, I, Timothy M. Keller, Mayor of the City of Albuquerque, do hereby proclaim October 15th, 2018 as Albuquerque Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day.
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, City of Albuquerque. Next, I would like to invite up Ms. Deb Holland, who is our Democratic nominee for the New Mexico's 1st Congressional District. In addition, I'm not sure if everyone realizes, Deb comes from our world in that she was a direct support professional assisting individuals with disabilities. So, Deb, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. It's my pleasure and honor to be with all of you today. And you know, the more I think about our role as, there's some candidates here, and we're running for office because we feel that we can help to make New Mexico a better place. And part of that is, for me, I feel like our real job is to create an environment where people can thrive, where people can be successful. And that includes everyone. That includes folks across our state, that we should always work very hard to make sure that they have the opportunities that they need and deserve to be active members of our society. I used to work at MaxCare. I worked as a residential counselor in one of the group homes at one time, and that gave me really a strong perspective about the daily lives of folks with developmental disabilities, adults with developmental disabilities, and how it is that we can help them to make their lives better. I feel, here in New Mexico with the waiting list that is so long for people on the DD waiver program, we really need to make sure that those folks get the help that they need. And so we should all be working very hard to create more funding, or to allocate more funding for those programs, for those people, so that they have what they need to thrive. You don't really know what they go through until you're with them 24 hours a day. I mean, these are people who need help crossing the street, who need to be accompanied on a city bus so they know how to ride the city bus, who need help filling out a job application, who need help getting back and forth from their job to their programs and things like that. It's unfair for anyone in our public sphere to assume that anybody should always pull themselves up by their bootstraps, because some people, they truly need the help in order just to live, in order to prepare meals and sustain themselves in a healthy environment. So I want you to know that I am committed to that. I really, truly feel like we should all be reaching out to make sure that the most vulnerable among us have what they need. And so I commit to you today that is something that I will always be committed to. Thank you to Mayor Keller for this proclamation. It's always a nice thing to know that the city of Albuquerque supports an event and a day like this, and commend all of you for the work that you're doing, because I know it's not always easy. And so the dedication that has been shared with us about Jennifer and her work right here in this space to make sure that people had a way forward is an honor for me, just to be here and speaking in her honor today. So I thank all of you so much for your participation and your support of Altamira. And to Altamira, you know that I am here for you, and if there's ever anything I can do, we will absolutely be here to support you. Thank you so much.
Deb, thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. If you look out this window, you will see a tile that's for Jennifer Jo Coddington that says "Be Flexible," which is exactly what we're going to be today, this morning. So next up, I'm going to jump down to Mr. Hector Balderas, our Attorney General for the state of New Mexico. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. How is everyone? Good. Come on. This is a brilliant day for me. We are excited as a community, more importantly because we talk about love, and I'm here to express my gratitude and my thanks to Altamira, who I must tell you, 22 years ago when my beautiful daughter was born, she was exceptional, but the doctors told us everything she would not do in life when she was born with Down syndrome. But as a young family, we were just afraid. We were afraid that our daughter would not be accepted. We were afraid, focusing on all the things that she would have challenges with. But along the way, we found Altamira, and as a family, learned about their early intervention. And Ariana really changed the way I look at the world. And they have exceptionalities. They're not even disabled. They have exceptionalities because they make a profound contribution to our community. That's right. Yeah. We need them. They don't need us. Mm-hmm. Now I somehow accidentally became your Attorney General. And as your Attorney General, I was taught by Altamira and leaders like Jenny and like Ariana that Attorney General, we can do a lot for justice and inclusion in our office. And I have state employees named Luke, who's my autistic staff assistant. I have advocates like Ms. Assad and Rashid, who are phenomenal because they are making our organization stronger. And they are exceptional. And yes, they have challenges, but our own office has led by example, also by being more inclusive. So when I heard there was a cabinet secretary at an agency that was not returning phone calls or not giving this young man, Luke, who had autism, an opportunity at gainful employment, we went ahead and just created an opportunity, and we sought her out, and she was a mother in Pecos, New Mexico. The reason I share this with you is because I want you to know, while the community is important in changing our culture and fighting for more inclusion, our Attorney General's office owes a debt of gratitude to the disabled community. We have brought on extra staff with exceptionalities who are now part of our Guardian investigations, where we're trying to mitigate exploitation in our own community. But we have a seat at the table with that community voice as leaders. We have also sent our own legal counsel to support organizations with disabilities organizations that are facing any type of legal challenge. We now try to lend our own legal support to that community. We've also increased oversight of charities that sometimes take advantage of people with disabilities. And we now keep an active staff for investigations and prosecutions of Medicaid fraud to also protect our most talented individuals. We're also at the AG's office, due to the leadership of Jenny and Ariana and some of my other influential individuals, we now help agencies and others that serve disabilities be more aware that the agency must be open and that they should have equal say and input. They should not be casting aside our most special members of our community. And we've also entrusted outreach to persons with disabilities who understand our own struggles, and they are our own advocates in charge of the Family Advocacy Services Division at our office, which we didn't have until we were touched, our lives were touched by these special individuals. And finally, I'll close with some goals. And I want to thank our leaders that are here, our senator, our soon-to-be state auditor, and the family here. At the AG's office, you will have a partner. Sometimes we're the good cop and sometimes we're the bad cop. We don't mind. However you want us to serve you, we're willing to do it. We want to increase employment opportunities for all New Mexicans with disabilities. We want to improve coordination among state agencies that serve the disability community, but also we want to share that dialogue and communication. And of course, we want to increase awareness of sexual and other assaults and abuse of exploitation of our most vulnerable populations. That's a conversation we're willing to have because we do not want to expose these beautiful people. And also, we have a division now that is disability friendly, and our consumer protection. They are consumers as well, and they deserve to be treated with the utmost consumer protection rights. And then finally, as was said earlier by our soon-to-be Congresswoman and others, it's time to use the law at the AG's office to try to find a way to reduce the backlog of the DD waiver in honor of Jenny and my daughter, Ariana. So without, please clap for that, please. We want to celebrate Altamira and Jenny's garden, and that is the perfect symbol. There's a lot of different types of beautiful life in that garden. We're all a little different, but we all deserve to be included, and what an honor it is to have the Attorney General's office participating. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney General. That was wonderful. Next up, I would actually like to invite Jesse. And Jessie is the development director with a absolutely wonderful organization that supports individuals with disabilities, Mandy's Farm. And she's here to tell you a little bit more about some of their initiatives and organization. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you all today. I've been really impressed with Altamira's advocacy in our community. We're blessed to have a community of providers who are working tirelessly to serve individuals with developmental disabilities. As I met with Andrew, we talked about some of the successes and barriers for people with disabilities in our community. And oftentimes that conversation leads to employment, and many people want to know, why is employment so important? Why is that what we advocate for? There are other services that people in the community need or could benefit from. Why do we focus on that? And one of the things that I always say in response to that question is that when we introduce ourselves to those around us, or when we're talking about ourselves with people we meet in the community, the work that we do is one of the first things we tell them about. We often ask, what is it that you do for a living? Or if we meet someone who's retired, we say, what did you do during your career? It's such a huge part of our identity, how we show our contribution to the community, how we show our talents, our gifts, our strengths. And so that sense of self-worth, that sense of self-efficacy, that self-confidence that we get from our work should not be based on whether or not we have a disability. As a person with a disability myself, my employment is a huge part of who I am and my sense of pride. I am a mother, and so that's a huge part of what gets me up in the morning. But my work each day is another component of that, of being able to know that I am making a difference in my community. One of the barriers that many of the people who've spoken today mentioned was the waiting list for DD waiver services. That's something that, as a disability organization, Mandy's Farm encounters regularly. Families that are desperately in need of services but are waiting. One of the initiatives that we've put forward to at least begin to cover the gap from school to adult living is the VAMOS program. And this is a program that Mandy's Farm has put together with the support of so many community nonprofits and for-profit businesses. And this program allows individuals who are on that waiting list to receive services through an intensive 8-week job training program. They're able to participate in internships, which they are paid for in the community. They're able to increase their job skills, and they're able to get assistance alongside their families to know what services are available to them, how to access those services, and how to gain employment as they're waiting for the DD waiver to allocate them to receive support. One of the huge changes we've seen as a result of this program is families come to us and say, I know more about what services are out there for myself, for my child, and I also see a difference in my child as they see employment as a possible pathway for their adult life. And I think that that's something that we as community members, as representatives in our government, that's something that we can do, is continue to offer employment as a pathway for individuals with disabilities and to support those accommodations and creative solutions to allowing people with disabilities to be included in the workforce. I'd just like to thank again Altamira for what you do in our community. As someone whose son took advantage of early intervention services, it really touches my heart to see agencies that really address the needs of individuals with disabilities from birth to adulthood. It's a unique program that you offer, and it's incredible to see the work that you're doing in our community. So thank you again for having me here, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Mandy's Farm. Next, I'd like to invite up our New Mexico State Senator from District 12, Mr. Jerry Ortiz-Pino. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank all of you for coming today for this impressive ceremony. And I want to recognize State Representative Liz Thompson, who's here with us today as well. She and I are members of an interim committee of the legislature. Between sessions, there are lots of committees for the legislature that go around the state taking testimony and hearing about problems and trying to educate ourselves about what we ought to be focusing on during the next session of the legislature. And this year, our committee, the Interim Health and Human Services Committee, has traveled to Las Cruces, to Silver City. We've had meetings in Albuquerque a couple of times. We'll be in Santa Fe and Espanola next week again, gathering information. And one of the issues that continuously has been brought to our attention, one of the problems that we should begin focusing on, is the waiting list, the incredible scandal that we face in this state, where there are as many people who are eligible for the DD waiver on the waiting list as are getting actually served by that. Actually, in fact, now more. It's now exceeded the number who are actually being served. That can be dealt with with two steps. One, we need to put more money into the program, and two, we need to expand the providers in the community and make sure they're strong and well supported so they can add staff, so they can see more clients, so they can work with more families, so they can actually provide the services that are needed by people who've been on the waiting list. The answer to the first one, I think, is available. We have more money available this year. After 10 years of the biblical lean years, the years where the cows are all scrawny, we have some money this year. And we will for the next several years, it looks like, due to the oil and gas industry in the state, for which we're grateful. But we want to be able to make sure we use it wisely. Yeah. And I can't think of a wiser use of that money than to expand the opportunities for employment for those with developmental disabilities, yeah, and by taking care of those who, like the elderly and the young, are our measure of how good a society we are, of how healthy a society we are. So we're looking forward to being able to, if not eliminating, at least making a huge dent in that waiting list this coming year. And we certainly appreciate the testimony that's been brought to us by people from the community. The strongest, loudest voice before our committee's hearings is always people advocating on their own behalf, and we've had some terrific self-advocates testifying before our committee this year. Thank you all for what you're doing, and thank you for the support you're giving to Altamira and similar services.
Thank you for those comments, Senator, and a quick introduction to my daughter, Abby. Abby, you want to stand up and say hi? Abby is currently on the waiting list and would love to see that list shrink. Next up, I would like to invite Rafe Martinez. The Albuquerque Sign Language Academy is a charter school here in Albuquerque that both of our children actually attend, and is an amazing place. There are a couple administrators here as well. I urge you to learn more about what they're doing, and Rafe is here to kind of tell you a little bit this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for having us today. I always jump at the chance to talk about our little school. I'm very proud of what we do. So when I'm asked to come and speak about the school, I say yes, and then I'm usually deflated when they say, and you have 2 minutes to do it. So, because there are so many things that we are doing, and we are, I believe, really kind of the city of the states, and maybe even nationally, the best kept secret around the most progressive, kind of ambitious form of public education, reform in deaf education and special education. So we're a little charter school that is 9 years old, and we're doing some things. I always say that. What are you doing? We're doing some things, a whole lot of things. So much so that we're garnering national attention and now partner with the likes of Harvard University, Penn State University, University of Minnesota, and of course, University of New Mexico, in creating revolutionary programming where deaf kids and hearing kids can go to school together and learn from each other. So it's an exciting program. and we're doing it with all the right intentions, and really with all the right means to the right ends. It's an exciting time for us. One of the things that we take pride in is reaching out to the community so that we leverage all the partnerships we can to serve our students, and so that we make sure that all our students are seen for their assets, for the things that they can give to make the Albuquerque a better place, with the idea that all students, all people, really should have purposeful citizenship, right? Take pride in what they do, have a passion for their work, and that's how the school is built. So I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be part of this event. And I want to finish very quickly by referencing Mr. Hubbard's poem and something you said about Jennifer, which resonated with me, which is that idea that she amplified happiness. I think that's a fantastic term. And I want to share a quick story with you around our connection to the University of New Mexico. In our work with them, we partner and work with a lot of different heads of departments, different professors. And so one of the professors let me know that in the work that UNM does with us, we have become like, Disneyland has nothing on us, we are the happiest place on earth. And that's exciting to me because public education, learning, should be an exercise in happiness. Yes. So thank you for having us, Andrew.
Next, I would like to invite up Laurel Deans and Wendy Corey, as they are a couple of local folks who are advocates and are beating the drum with us.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us, and Angelique, thank you for inviting us. The advocate voice, I have to say, is the most important voice. Without the advocate, without the self-advocate, people with disabilities, a lot of us here wouldn't be employed. We would not have anything to advocate for. And so I can't stress enough the importance of listening to what Laurel, to what your daughter, to Adriana, to all those people who have a disability. They are the ones who know what they want, to be perfectly blunt. They are the ones who know how to speak for themselves, how to speak up for themselves. There we have tremendous advocates across the state, and they are really the people who should be driving this ship, I believe. Employment is a huge, my name is Wendy Corey, I apologize. And so I do a lot of work with employment, systems work, trying to get agencies, a lot of state agencies to collaborate, work together, school systems, et cetera, to really partner in building resources for kids graduating from high school and then going to where. And so a lot of work needs to be done in that school to work transition. But for employment, I think it is so critical that we really allow people with disabilities to work. There's a lot of barriers that people face. A lot of them are attitudes. A lot of attitudes on family members who are worried about people going into the workforce. A lot of barriers from potential employers who see liability concerns. And you know, to be honest, the research shows that hiring people with disabilities is actually a good economic move for a business. You know, this is not about sympathy, this is not about charity, this is not about me feeling good because I hired somebody with a disability and I'm doing something good for them. This is about, they will build your business. As a business owner, it is smart to hire people with disabilities. Amen. They actually have, Tim knows. Tim is a business owner himself. Tim has done phenomenal work. That is not, Tim is not charity, he is not sympathetic, he is not, we are not proud of Tim because he has a disability. We're proud of Tim because he was a very smart business owner, right? And you made a business for yourself, yeah. Right. And there's a lot of potential Tims out there if we give them a chance. And so for employment, what the research shows is that people with disabilities that are employed actually improve morale in a workplace. The co-workers actually are more productive if you have people with disabilities working there. People with disabilities do not take more leave time, sick time. They are the best, most dependable workers that you have. So it is a very smart business move, and I think we need to shift our mentality from either, well, this poor person, I guess I'll give him a chance and I'll, then I'll go home and feel good, to this is a phenomenal member of our business community that we're missing out on by not hiring people with disabilities. So enough about what I think, because really what's important is what Laurel thinks. Laurel's a good friend, and she's going to talk about what she does for work.
Okay, I'm Laurel Deans, and I work for CFC, the Function and Creative Activity, for 5 years. I'm a file clerk there, and this Tuesday I'm going to go into a different task there too, but responsibilities. So so I'm an independent girl. I've been independent. How long?
How long have you had you have your own apartment?
Yeah, I have my own apartment, maybe 15 years. I don't know. Well, I'm a bird, and I've been working in different spots at work, and I was like, and then I went to that some agency and said, hey, Laurel, so what do you want to do for work? And I was like, I don't know, because I did babysitting, I do other stuff. And so it's very good to have a self-advocate speak up for themselves to their parents, to their guardians, so they can have a voice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you both. And I think that is a perfect segue for our next guest from Bosky Brewing. Please welcome Jotham and Jess with some news and information about an upcoming initiative, Restoration Pizza, and just a little bit about their local successful business here. So, Jotham.
Hey, thanks for having us. I'm really honored to be here. This is so cool. This is kind of my first foray into this community, and it's been kind of fun because we started Bosky Brewing in 2012 with the underlying premise that we didn't really know we had, which was people are about experiences and we're about people. And it turned out that we really cared more about our coworkers than we did about our customers. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but that's a big part of what we do, is making sure that we provide the best place to work. So we didn't have any connection to this community, and we met this guy named Nathan Winham a couple years ago, and he has been working very closely with the disabled community in Arkansas, and he launched several successful programs and came to New Mexico and said, hey, I want to do some of this stuff here, but I know I have a long journey in front of me trying to get this off the ground. And so we said, well, hey, this is a perfect opportunity for us to partner because we have access to the market right away, so let's do something together. And it turned out that one of the most successful programs that he ran back there was a pizza place. And or not the pizza place, but the program that was in the pizza place. And so we thought, well, this is great. We understand how to do restaurants, and you understand how to engage this community. So let's do this together. So this is kind of a passion project for us. This is one of the things that we always want to go into the community and try to leave it better than we found it. And this is one area that we hope to be able to do that. We chose to do this because we really love our community, and we love the brewing industry, and we love watching New Mexico improve. And so if we can be a part of that in any way, shape, or form, we want to be. And we've really been kind of going over the last couple of years trying to figure out, what is it that makes us tick? What do we want to support? Where can we have the strongest impact? And after meeting Nathan and really kind of working this out, we were like, well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and take a step. And so what we're hoping to accomplish right now, and I don't even know how doable this is, but we would really like to have at least 50 to 60% of our staff at this new pizza place be people with different abilities, because we just think it's right. We just want to be a help, and we want to be able to provide something. Thank you very much. We just think it's really important to be able to provide meaningful work opportunities and on-the-job training that may not. Those opportunities, I think, are pretty few and far between. So, like I said, this is my first foray into this community, and I'm amazed at like all the things that so many different organizations and so many people are doing to better the lives of individuals that may not have the ability to do that on their own. And I'm very, very thankful to be a part of this. So thank you for having us, and thank you for all the work that you all do. Is there anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for opening your doors to us. And, you know, like Jotha mentioned, we are very new to this community and can use all of the help that you're willing to give us in varying degrees. We're hoping to have Restoration Pizza open by February of next year. Currently doing some job fairs with Altamira and with other organizations in the community. So really excited to get these initiatives launched with many community partners. And like Jotham said, what makes us tick is making our community better by creating meaningful work for everyone, creating an inclusive environment within our tap rooms and within our business. And we couldn't do that without the support of everyone in this room. So thank you so much.
Okay, second to last, thank you for staying with us. I'd like to invite our close friend, Mr. Brian Colon. He is certainly a New Mexico attorney and our Democratic nominee for state auditor. Welcome.
Thank you, Andrew. What a beautiful day, and I'm rarely in a room filled with this much love. I mean, who would have thought that I could get all tingly over Bosky Brewing? I'm not a beer drinker, but I got to tell you, when Jonathan says that he is looking to bring on 50% of his staff with people who have different abilities, I mean, what an amazing commitment. Thank you for your work. Thank you very much. I'm going to share this morning with folks like my friends and the good senator. You know, the senator was up here giving his remarks, and I know that Jenny's mom said, "Boy, that man can preach." And I leaned over to the good brother and told him that, and he agreed. So I figured that she was right on that. And it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm not here today as a politician. You know, there's a little letter to the editor today, and I've never really had an editor's letter written about me like the one that's in there today. I don't quite know how in fact it got in there, because I wouldn't have thought that the Journal would run something so short and sweet. But basically it said, Brian Colon's running for auditor, and people ought to vote for him, not because he's got the qualifications, which he does with his finance and law background, but because he's nice. And we never hear that in politics, right?
No.
But what you hear always about Altamira is that this place is a place of love.
Yeah.
It's a place where people can look up. It's a place where people can see themselves being bigger than they've ever seen themselves before, because they have opportunities like they've never had before because of this organization. I'm not here today as a politician. I'm here as a supporter of Altamira, and I've had a long-standing relationship with this organization, going all the way back almost 20 years, and working closely with Kathy, and making sure that when this courtyard was rolling out and they had a tile program, that my wife and I could sponsor a tile many years ago in honor of somebody we love deeply who's got different abilities. And I know what this organization does, and I am so proud of it for not just thinking about what it does in this building, on this site, for its clients, but also for what some of the other organizations in this community are doing for those very similar people. So thank you for bringing this community together. Thank you for being a light in our community. Thank you, Jenny, for and her family for being out here today in her memory, because as we walk by those blooming items in the garden, we will remember her and remember the smile that she brought to our faces. And thank you for coming all the way out to read that beautiful poem. It touched me and it touched everybody in this room. So as we go forward and as we celebrate Jenny's legacy with this garden, Andrew, know that you have a partner in a community member who cares deeply about the work you do every single day. I'll be here for you. I've been here for you in the past. I'll be here for you in the future, regardless of whether I have any political titles or not. I'm in your corner 100%. Thank you, Altamira. Thank you. Let's celebrate Jenny's life and legacy.
Thank you so much, Brian. I am thrilled to have our last speaker, advocate. I really didn't know what to put next to Tim's name, so
Superstar.
I luckily found a photo of him at a recent TEDx talk, and those are the words that it said next to him: self-advocate, motivational speaker, and then of course his business experience as well. So Tim, would you like to come up?
Get in line for your hugs.
Oh yeah. Hello everyone. Hello. My name is Tim Harris, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Today, for over 5 years, I owned a restaurant in Albuquerque, New Mexico, called Tim's Place. And it was known as the friendliest restaurant on the planet. I am living proof that people with disabilities should live the life of their dreams. I have a lot of dreams too. I have a dream to be strong and be healthy. I have a workout buddy named Matthew, and he helps me and encourages me to keep going. Our dreams are big, and we deserve a chance to live them out. That is why I think everyone should come out to the Disabilities Employment Job Fair. Oh yeah! Thank you for your time. I love you all. Oh yeah! I just have one more thing to say to you guys, that this weekend in Denver, Colorado, I'll be racing in a 10K with my best friend Arlene. I'm very excited. Oh yeah! Thank you guys.
Oh yeah, Tim. Thank you.
I love you.
All right, that is one hard act to follow. Okay. In closing, wanted to take this opportunity to thank Lowe's Home Improvement back here, see Freddie down on 12th Street, Valley Fence Company for your extremely generous donations in helping make Jenny's Garden a reality. Thank you to Neil and Betty Jo Coddington. Please raise your hands, Neil and Betty Jo. Your support in allowing us to tell Jenny's story.
Are you going to allow us to say anything?
Perhaps. And also Krista Coddington for your help as well. We are going to, obviously this is the grand opening of Jenny's Garden. Please see me after today's event if you are interested in becoming a sponsor and joining us as one of Jenny's gardeners, okay? Thank you to Emilio Vallejos at Filling Phillies, Andrew Cavalier, big shout out to Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. The chamber is great for helping not only provide us lunch today, but really they support a lot of small businesses and local nonprofits in this community. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the State Fairgrounds as a disability job fair. Please get the word out about that. Lunch is to follow. Please join us for the refreshments, and we're going to show a 10-minute short documentary that Craig Venzel at Catwalk Films helped produce as well about Jenny's story. Thank you for your current and future support of the disability community, and Betty Jo, did you want to?
Yes, I do. I'll just stay put here. I want to thank each of you, Neil and I do very much from the bottom of our hearts for your support and your coming. And I wish Jenny could be here today so you could meet her, because Nancy has been her mentor since she was around 20 years old. And she helped, not just a little thing and left her, she was her mentor through life. Another mom, another sister, and she has made it happen. And Andrew came on the scene and added all this to it, but this place is home. This is Jenny. Some of her jewelry, she loved her jewelry, but she loved her people. She loved her pastor. She loved all of that. She was a voter. Man. And I want you to know she was political. And she was opinionated, because one thing in politics, one thing that she cared about was not who's going to bomb who or when, but who's going to vote for the programs that support kids like me. Who's going to make it easier for me? We left it simple. Because I don't even understand all the rest of the stuff myself. But she cared so much, and she would tell you to vote, and she voted. She would have ripped up everything. She's a beautiful person. She could get mad, but oh, she was my heart. And I thank you. And there's this family here, we've known them since their daughter Kathy was 1 day old. Jenny went in and visited them and made a difference in their life. And it means a lot. This man here, give me his name, Neil.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, my goodness. A Baptist New Mexico magazine, and he wrote articles. We took some and went and took pictures and spread the word. And I'm sorry, I don't know what church you're at, but us Baptists, we need educated. And about the things that our special needs kids can do and the help that they need. And I just thank you so much, and I just give you anything if you could meet my daughter. And so if any of you can stay and watch some of it, she was just so funny. She had a sense of humor from God, and she really did love you. She went around, there was a lady at our church that when she was in rehab came and brought her so much stuff, and Jenny was so bad off she couldn't use it. But she gave me $100 to help with the bills, and she said, she sought me out and told me I was beautiful. And she came because she needed to feel beautiful. And that's something all of our special need kids can do, is make people feel beautiful in a world when we don't feel very beautiful. And to tell you the truth, we don't act very beautiful, but Jenny sought out the beautiful. She won't go to church anymore. She says she was the only one that really truly loved me and thought I was beautiful. So let's try to live more like our disabled population who saw the beauty in people that the rest of us sometimes ignore. Tim back here, Jenny got so many hugs from him, I had to eat at that dumb restaurant over and over. I brought my granddaughter down from Denver, a little blonde, and boy, when she came with us, Jenny got ignored. Tim went after her. He was enamored with her, you know. But I thank you so much, and I'll never be able to thank Nancy Hunt enough, because we've been through so many bosses. This is a lovely boss she got now. I call them executive bosses. But they have come and gone. But Nancy has been the one constant in her life. And I tell you something, you want a friend, that's the one. And you know all the songs. There's a thing that was in the funnies yesterday. I think you saw him, his little cat like what? Mutt walking along. And he's saying, you know what? We're all just walking each other home. Oh, that blew me away, because sometimes in the funnies you can be so inspired. I think that's in this life, we're just walking each other home. Oh, I just thought that was wonderful. And thank you for having your part in walking with me as we walk home. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky Cheryl. Thank you to our guests. Thank you, everybody who's here. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. Lunch is served.